Hello, this video is a reply to Nuxtaku's video about the Avatar being OP done right. The video explains how well balanced being the Avatar is, although they are the chosen one, fundamentally capable of being way stronger than any of their opponents. But why is that? Nux explains that the Avatar is stronger precisely because the Avatar can bend 4 elements and nothing else. And I'm here to say that the entire video is bullshit. Okay, just kidding. It's a friendly critique because I think he missed some points of the show. Nux says the Avatar's existence alone is reason enough to stop wars, but we know this isn't true. In the past, many people have started wars and conflicts against the Avatar. No real enemies are that scared of the Avatar. We saw this time and time again. Sozin wasn't scared of Roku. Shin the Conqueror wasn't afraid of Kyoshi, or even dying. Spirits aren't scared of the Avatar, like, at all. We saw that with Kuruk and Wan. It is only when they enter the Avatar state that they are actually almighty. Nux tries to use Aang fighting Zuko on the boat as an example for multiple elements being stronger than one, but I think it's false. Stating Aang only wins because he is able to use two elements here. And although that is true, it is also because he enters the Avatar state. He was a really beginner waterbender at this point in time, and would never have done it without entering the Avatar state. He compares it to rock, paper, scissors, even though in Avatar there are 4 elements instead of 3. And the elements aren't cookie cutter counters to each other in a fight. Sure, waterbenders may have an easier time against firebenders, but it's still mostly skill that counts. Only mentally we see that they are really each other's opposite. We learn that practicing the opposite element is much harder when Aang tries bending Earth for the first time. He never even mentions the Avatar state as a reason being why the Avatar is stronger than everyone else. But we know that this is one of the most important things to being the Avatar, the spiritual side. You can even look at it as a fifth element. Energy gets bent time and time again. We see Aang do it, we see Korra do it, both in bending spirits and its energy. Raava is a spirit and the only reason the Avatar state exists. Even with all the previous avatars gone, Korra can still only reach the peak of her abilities in the avatar state. He says that the avatar is basically A tier in every element, and that there's always some enemy out there, S tier, in their respective element, like Azula, who can literally create lightning. I also want to add to this that being an outlier or being able to do something not every other ordinary bender can do doesn't mean you're better than them. We see this with Zahir. He can literally fly, but I still think Tenzin is a better airbender than him, even though in their battle he couldn't fly yet. You get my point. He states,
We see Toph, a very powerful earthbender, bend metal. She develops metal bending, and that's something we've never seen an Avatar actually do. This is an echelon of earthbending that is out the reach of the Avatar, and that makes Toph, in some ways, stronger than the Avatar himself. The Avatar cannot surpass that level of earthbending. We've seen people like Iroh and others shoot lightning once truly mastering firebending, and even once an Avatar, a true master of all the elements, they didn't reach that stage where they can actually produce lightning per se. That, again, is a step above the Avatar.
but again, this is completely false. Sure, he could bend them, but he wasn't even close to being a firebending master, even after the dragon dance. Even Toph herself said his earthbending needs some work.
Ready. I need more time to master firebending.
And frankly, your earthbending could still use some work too.
Even so, in Korra we see her metal bending, the thing which Toph discovered, and so many other talented earthbenders can do it too. Now this OP feature suddenly doesn't seem so OP anymore, huh? When a lot of people can do it? Sue explains anyone can do it. Does that mean Korra is now an S tier metal bender? Who knows? There's still a thing called lava bending out there. We haven't seen someone bend both metal and lava before. But I'm sure someone can. My point is, the avatar can become an outlier, as Nux likes to call it. No, actually, my point is that they never were an outlier at all. Sure, they were at some point, but they won't be forever. And I'm sure that far enough in the future, an avatar might exist that can metal bend, lava bend, sand bend, create lightning, create explosions with their mind, fly, astral project, and even blood bend. The possibilities are literally endless. The avatars after Korra will also have access to her powers and knowledge. A new avatar cycle has begun. But this doesn't mean that being the avatar is OP done wrong. No, the avatar still has to go through hardships. They might not figure out how to bend a certain element. They can't just magically learn any element at a certain time. Korra only learned air when she was at her lowest point and tried bending, even though she didn't believe she could. She tried, and succeeded. She's still an inferior earthbender compared to, for example, Kuvira though, and I think this would be a much better example at showing how bending multiple elements is actually an advantage. Even though the fight didn't end, I believe Korra would have won. Another example like this is Aang vs Azula on the drill. Aang won solely because he can bend multiple elements. But in the most important battles, we see that the Avatar needs the Avatar state to be as strong as the worlds need them to be. So it all boils down to the spiritual stuff again. This is the only true OP S tier outlier ability, which no one else will ever have the possibility of reaching. But to control and master this power, they still have to train very hard, endure hardships, seek physical and mental help. They can't do it all alone, but they're the only one able to keep peace to the material and spiritual world. And this is why I think the Avatar is still OP done right. Again, this isn't to bash Nux in any way, but just my opinion on the matter. Be sure to comment stuff you don't agree or do agree with, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing or sharing. This is the first video I ever made, and I plan on making more Avatar content, but also talk about other shows, anime, and games. And I hope I see you again.